The only way forward is enhancing local commerce, and trading services is integral to that. And going beyond that, because it's not one sector or two sectors, it's every sector which benefits or depends on the services sector. That's why I specifically referred to the agriculture sector, the smaller economies, developing economies, where these services have to be delivered. Then you have the health services, the financial services, which only be there in countries which have proven strengths in these fields. And it's true that in the WTO negotiations, services negotiations can be used, enhancing access in this sector as a sort of catalyst.
Thank you. I'm sure we'll come back to more of that later on. Secretary Ferrari.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to be in Washington, especially at this time that we are having challenges, but of course opportunities as we have had in this moment. And I would also like to have the opportunity of thanking Bob Basting, President of the Coalition of Services Industries, and of course our friend Bill Topera, President of MedLife International, for inviting us to be here today. This is a very important forum in which we can speak. Is becoming maybe one of the most important services forum in which you can talk about the new phase that the world is actually having or facing at this moment, and especially after such important crisis, in which probably the most important lesson that we learn is that we have to do or to rethink what we are doing, and we have to do it in a different way. We need to think out of the box, and that's why I believe this moment of the dollar round is so important, because we need to have a different approach, and that's why I'm so pleased of being here today. In what is related to the Mexican activities that we are doing in this regard, let's say that we have our economies playing a very fundamental role in the part of services. If you are thinking that the sector contributes with approximately 72% of the employment and accounts for about 68% of our GDP, and if you think also in our foreign direct investment, we're talking about half of it. I mean, more than 50% of our foreign direct investment is coming into this area. Nevertheless, I have to say that service trade, however, accounts only for approximately 6% of our total trade, which is still a very small proportion of the whole thing that we have. So this is the arena in which we have been seeing our services, and as you know, Mexico is already an international player in services such as telecommunications, entertainment industry, construction, but there are other services that provide great opportunities, such as logistics, financial, health, IT, which we need to improve, and we need to search deeply into those. We have some domestic challenges that we are facing and that we are working deeply on. The first one is competition. President Calderon recently proposed a new reform that has already been approved by the lower chamber, and will really enhance competition, taking into consideration the best practices around the world, and that will be in key sectors such as transportation and telecommunication services. We are discussing that with the Senate right now, but that is going to be quite important for our future. The second one is innovation. During this month, the Mexican government launched a new strategy to foster innovation and to enhance the convergence of telecommunications. You may have heard about it, and how we are going to have this blackout of the analogic TV, and how we are going to put together these telecommunications, TV, and internet services, which is also a challenge that we are facing right now. and that we're evolving. The third aspect that I would like to talk is that we have increased spending to improve the access to credit. And we're talking here about the small and medium enterprises, which are very important. We're talking about more than 98% of the enterprises of Mexico, which are very important. And we are really working on that. And in that regard, I would just mention that also we're doing a special effort, and I'm so happy that we have a lot of women presence today, because this is also a part in which we are focusing. We have given credits to small and medium enterprises that are related with women. Actually, 1.5 million women have been enjoying this aspect, because we have discovered, and I have to be very honest on that, that whenever you help women, you do help the economy, you do help the family, and of course, you help the business, because they really focus their activities on what they said, and we have had very good results into giving credit into women, because the way in which they have been delivering. So we are really focusing on developing this internal market, but especially through small and medium enterprises in the way in which we have been doing. We are also eliminating unnecessary regulations to facilitate the operation of small and medium enterprises as well, using IT technologies. Just for you to have this in mind, in the past, you were taking probably from 20 to 34 days, depending on the business that you were going to open in Mexico, and many times you need to go personally to do those things or through your legal representative. Nowadays, you can do it through internet, and you just need to spend 2.5 hours to open a new business. So those are the things in which we are challenging and facing the future. And of course, by increasing investment in infrastructure, that has been a very important effort of President Calderon's administration. We have moved from less than 3% of our GDP being invested in infrastructure up to more than 5%, which means a huge investment in changing the infrastructure of Mexico in order to make Mexico as a logistical node for many of the companies. You know that we enjoy many free trade agreements that allow people to export from Mexico to many different countries. Then, talking about regional challenges, I believe that are very important for us, and I have to say this, to improve the delivery of our products, we need efficient transportation and lower logistic costs for distribution services. And that's why Mexico needs to join efforts with the United States in order to promote trade across our borders by overcoming outstanding disputes. Here, of course, I need to address the issue of solving the trucking problems. It's of vital importance, allowing for safe and seamless transportation services of international cargo. It's an imperious requirement in the competitiveness of the region and remains a flaw in the NAFTA. Otherwise, has been a very successful record, the one that we have. But that, as you know, it's a very important topic for us, and that's why we have been working on that in the recent months, especially with these new retaliation processes that we have been importantly working on in order to enhance this relationship that is pending from us. Then, to develop the international market access, well, we have already included services chapters in 10 of our free trade agreements with accounts from 42 countries, and these provisions are very important because that means that we have certainty and transparency to businesses and economic actors of our trade partners. We do believe that this is something that we need to approach in a different way. The current services negotiations, the Doha round, are so relevant, and the objective must be to at least consolidate the existing degree of openness in each of our countries. Many of us would like to go beyond this point, but we also must be prepared to pay for it. Mexico shares the service negotiations of the round with the task of conciliating the still divergent positions, and we recommend